A child has taken their own life inside WA's Banksia Hill Detention Centre. This latest incident comes after the death of 16-year-old Cleveland Dodd in his Unit 18 cell within the maximum security adult male Casuarina prison in October. Joining me now with more is senior reporter at The Nightly, Rebecca LeMay. Beck, what do we currently know about this incident?
So what we know is that the young 17-year-old male came to the Canning Vale facility on Tuesday. He was put into the intensive supervision unit, and yesterday, just after lunch, he was put into the Turner unit, which is in the general population. We've been told by the new Corrective Services Commissioner, Brad Royce, that the boy was kept a very close eye on because he was intoxicated by alcohol and drugs. And that he was continuously monitored around the clock while he was in the ISU. Brad then went on to tell reporters this morning that the boy, when he was in the Turner unit, hadn't demonstrated any concerning signs of self-harm or any mental health issues, that he had made contact with his in-cell intercom once about 2 hours before this incident, but that he'd just made an innocuous request.
So according to the Commissioner, it sounds as though there was no indication, according to what he has said about the staff working at Banksia Hill, that there was a risk of self-harm from this boy. There's a management system that they use to judge that risk. Where did this boy fall on that scale?
So the boy was on what's known as ARMS Level 3. ARMS stands for the At-Risk Management System, and 3 is it's quite a low rating. It obviously suggests there is some risk, but Level 1 is the highest rating, so that's for children with a risk of imminent self-harm.
And so what do we know about how many staff were on duty overnight when this incident occurs?
So the Commissioner said there were 17 staff on last night. He didn't make a breakdown in terms of how many of them were custodial. There was at least one nurse, but there were 56 detainees. And the Commissioner said that this was an acceptable, pretty normal kind of ratio at that time of day, suggesting that there would be more staff on during the day.
And we know some of these staff are wearing body-worn cameras. Had Brad Royce reviewed any of this footage? What did he have to say about that?
So the Commissioner said he was told within the hour of this incident and went into the centre where he watched CCTV and body camera vision, and he took the view that the actions from staff was appropriate. He said all staff were wearing radios, they were carrying alarms, and that's in stark contrast to what we've heard at the inquest for Cleveland Dodd, where staff on duty that night weren't carrying their radios and literally had to rush about the centre with not a huge amount of alacrity, I might add, to raise the alarm. Seems reassuring, but time will tell when the facts start to wash out.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Cleveland Dodd. That happened at the Casuarina prison, which is an adult prison. This is a juvenile detention facility, but we know Banksia Hill has certainly had some very high-profile issues during the Labor government's period in office. What has the WA Premier Roger Cook had to say about this latest tragedy?
So the Premier's basically said there's obviously been a failure and that you can't have a death in custody without there being some sort of failure. But he stressed the improvements that have happened in youth detention, citing things like programs the kids are receiving, more hours out of cell and better staffing levels.
I think critics of the youth justice system will certainly see this as evidence that some of those fixes have not been as effective as the government might like to think. Rebecca LeMay, senior reporter at The Nightly, we appreciate you bringing us this information. No doubt there's still plenty more information to come. And if you need help, you can reach out to Lifeline on 131114.